Jesse and Bob are two dudes on the job to brighten your day while gabbing away on a pod. Forget your frown, let's see what's going down in Beachtown.
Sweet mother of pearl, heavens to Murgatroyd, every which way from Sunday. What do you say? What do you know? How's tricks? How's the kids? Some weather we're having. Jokers cracking wise, Weisenheimers on the up and up, hooligans on the straight and narrow. Bada bing, dames are flipping their lids. How's it hanging, you wild savages? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Beachtown podcast, the mental health podcast that actually cheers you up. We are Jesse Egan and Bob. I am one of those guys. Jesse, how's it hanging?
It's going good, buddy. It's nice to see you. It's good to be here in Beachtown, and I'm excited, man. Pilot episode.
You fired it up. You got the heart pumping. You got the blood boiling, ice water flowing through the veins. Diesel fuel.
You can't see all the kicks.
You can't see. No reason karate kicks. You can't see mine either. I would break 8 things.
Look like David Lee Roth over here.
I dig it, my man. But this is exciting. Here we are. This is the first time. This is we're jumping in a pool here. Went to one too many times. Close but no cigar. Lights are on. Nobody's home. Like a runaway freight train, Daddy, all the way live. Good to see out there. You're an ocean beach. That is a beach. That is a town of a beach.
Yes, we didn't get very creative with our naming.
You did not. I'm in Kearney Mesa, which, if you don't know, is a part of San Diego that is actually Spanish for go straight on red. A lot of people don't know that. It's what are you doing? A green light? Well, you still go straight, but you also should be texting.
How do you like your new neighborhood and your new place there, Bob? I'm admiring the collection of toys behind you, by the way.
Thanks so much. I'm hanging out with
to see them in person, but
yes, I'm hanging out with my GI Joes and my new burning 1995 Godzilla. Enjoying those bad boys. They cheer me up. They make me feel good, which is why we are here on the first mental health and entertainment podcast. Like the reason, folks, and we're going to have to repeat this as time goes on, is that sometimes you see these things and it's somber and it's got an NPR voice and it's got, it's going to be gentle music, which is actually depressing music. And then do you feel any better after watching those things?
No, it's like a Sarah McLachlan. Did I say that right? McLachlan.
Sure, I would have taken it.
McLachlan. That's actually going to be our next theme song for the next episode, is In the Arms of the Angels. So
yes, which was the second choice for the name for the podcast. The third was Jacking It in San Diego.
That's true. We should have stuck with that.
Maybe there still might be time. I don't know. We'll talk. We'll fix it in post. So we're here to make people feel a bit better and not reminding them everything is just so sad and miserable, and let them know that people are working along. There are others working on themselves too, and not everything is with everyone else is the flowers and sunshine you would see on the Instagram and the Twitter and the Facebook and what have you, and everything else.
Absolutely. I think that's a good point too, Bob, is that like those social media things, they really just make people feel awful, Yeah. I think the more you're on social media, they've said the more unhappy you get. So, every time people like check Instagram and Facebook, it's like a surefire way to feel crappier right afterwards.
Absolutely. It found a way for me to make me not feel happy for my friends.
Yeah. Right.
It's like if they call me or even text me, which is at least a personal one-on-one, I'm actually pretty happy for them. When I hear about their good news on social media, I'm like, did you need the other baby?
There's like, dislike, mad. There should be like sour grapes, jealousy, like envy buttons, like, all kinds of. But yeah, I think it's also because it's such an artificial presentation of your real life. It's like, look at me. They caught me in this happy. I'm on a yacht. It's like it might as well be a fake background like this.
Yeah, which is the funny thing about your fake background. It's a real picture taken like 100 yards or 100, not even from where you live.
That's true. I could actually be standing right in front of.
So really, you can be there in 3 minutes. It's really not that fake.
That's true. It'd just be windy for me podcast.
It would just be absurd. Well, so you mentioned sour grapes. Holy segue! Look at me go!
Wow, I didn't
Look at me go! I know you didn't, but I took the ball and I ran with it like a runaway freight train, like a champ, like a steamroller.
Well, that's right. That does segue into sort of one of the main things that we wanted to do on this podcast was to go over something called grapes. And I've shared it a few times on social media,
Yeah.
just to, do the opposite of bum people out. But when I went to see a therapist, I had a therapist that was very helpful and recommended doing some things during the day, everyday things that would really help you with your mental health and just make you feel better. And disclaimer here, Bob and I are not qualified to give advice. So if anything goes wrong, please, no suing. Like, that's right off the bat. Don't take our advice if it's, but that being said, let me just
Shame on you. Yeah.
yeah.
And by the way, if you're out there and this is where you went, shame on you for, oh, that guy has a decent G.I. Joe collection at 41. I'm just going to let him lead. No.
Yeah, these guys are going to help me
No.
figure it out. No, go see a therapist and they will be, actually helpful. But
Yes. But we are in the journey together and we are free. So, sometimes you need to know, sometimes people vent because they're negative, they're miserable, this, and sometimes people vent because they just need for a few minutes to know they're not the only one.
Good point.
And that's why we're doing this. And
we're all
that's
in this
why
together, separately on Zoom. But
we're all this together, but 6 feet away
together.
still. Just get over there.
Yeah. That's the other thing I feel like about the pandemic is like it's isolated everybody for so long that people have gotten used to not socializing with each other, which is sort of a big part of this grapes thing, that you actually have to go out. That's the S in grapes. Grapes is an acronym, which stands for G, gentle with self, R, relaxation, A is accomplishment, P is pleasure, E is exercise, and S is social. And the idea is that you're supposed to engage in each one of those activities every day. And if you do, you'll have a more fulfilling day. And as a byproduct, you'll feel better. And you'll be less unhappy. And I've found personally that it's helped. When I was pretty low, I started charting this and writing these things down. And, gentle with self is like you just say something nice about yourself or to yourself. The other G could be gratitude, sort of expressing something that you're grateful for. But really, Bob and I just wanted to do a weekly grapes check-in, right? And go through sort of what we've done to attempt these things and where we've fallen down a little bit, what we should work on more for next time.
That's exactly right. And I figured we were doing this on the phone more than enough times anyway. Why not just bring this out to the people? Because if I'm one thing, Jesse, I'm a man of the people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've always said that about myself.
No one else has, but you
Not yet.
always have said that. Yeah.
Not yet. If there's a comment section, if there's a YouTube, if we get a YouTube video version, well, I guess I'm better now because I opened my mouth. Yeah, let's definitely put in comments that Bob is a man of the people. Bob Squad, if you're out there, I know who you are. You're listening, so I think the Bob Squad would agree.
I gotta get a Bob Squad T-shirt when you get those.
I gotta make one. I was gonna say, geez, we're jumping the gun left and right, man. We're shooting a breeze, shooting a fat, but that's gonna happen. So you said the first, what's first in grapes is gentle with self.
Yeah, like I think a lot of times we are tough on ourselves, more, tougher on ourselves than we are on our friends or people we really love. And, the therapist's advice would be like to treat yourself like your best friend. Like, how would you treat your friend? You would be very supportive, you would be kind. And if they said something negative about themselves, you would likely check them on it and say, that's really not the truth. The truth is, these positive things. So the idea is to then give yourself these daily affirmations, the Stuart Smalley, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And if you put enough positive things out there, you end up believing it and you start feeling better. It's kind of like what my brother told me one time, that he had noticed that confidence is one of those things that you can fake it and it works the same way. So fake confidence works the same as real confidence, meaning like if I pretend to be confident and people believe it, they will respond in such a way that they believe in you, then you believe in yourself, and then you're actually confident all of a sudden. So that's an interesting thing of like manifesting positivity or confidence, and then it kind of comes back to you in the world.
Right. Somebody out there right now is listening to that, and they're just saying "fake it till you make it" because it rhymes. And I know that expression always annoyed me because
Yeah.
it just rhymes. It doesn't mean anything. But I understand what you're saying here. Is I prefer when in a similar along those lines, Randy Savage would say, the great late Macho Man Randy Savage would say, "Perception is reality." Yeah. So everyone has their own way of expressing that. Except Randy's was cooler, and it
Way
didn't have to. And it didn't have to rhyme because he was the Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's true. I mean, you always think like, how do wrestlers pump themselves up? What would they say to
Well,
themselves?
easy on yeah. You better change the verbiage on that historically. Maybe
Yeah, that's right.
let's just take it easy there. There's an age for the wrestling fans out there. There's an age-old story of and this is early '90s, late '80s wrestlers. Supposedly, I don't know, Mr. Perfect was helping inject a famous wrestler called the Warlord with a needle in his buttocks, and the needle broke. And Perfect looked up at the Warlord and said, "I think you're full." That's been told. Yes, that's been told publicly many times. That we're fine there.
That's
I
funny.
dig it. So what have we done? What have
what have we done this week? I mean, it's
to be gentle
Friday
for the grapes, to be gentle with
we
oneself.
made it to Friday. That's good.
You know. It's Saturday, Jesse.
We still made it to Friday.
We did. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell day it is anymore.
Jesus Christ.
We made it to Saturday, Bob, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
It's the weekend. Gentle with self. So yeah, saying something nice about yourself, right? Like my first instinct is to always say something negative, like you're fat.
Yeah.
You know, and that never helps. It just makes me feel shitty.
Right.
So like saying something nice, like you're kind to people, and that's good enough. I mean, that's that's something that I always try to do, and I think that's an honest statement. So that's a nice thing to say about yourself.
Well, the other day I was also of the gentle with self of the grapes. I was being nice to myself. I was taking a walk, which we may expand on later. And one thing I like to do when I take walks, I never told you this before. A lot of people in my suburban area in Kearney Mesa, go straight on red, have what they like. They have rock gardens. And a lot of times the special different colors of rocks will fall out onto the sidewalk. When I see a rock that spills out onto the sidewalk, I kick it back into the proper garden, and I helped. And I'm very helpful. That's one of the things about Bob, is that I'm extremely helpful in that regard. So I don't have to do that, and they can't see me do it. It happens very quickly, so I don't get a thank you. Much like when I'm in a supermarket, if I see the potato chips, like there'll be like 5 different types of 5 of the same brand, and one will fall on the floor. I don't even like potato chips, but I'll pick one up off the floor and I'll put it back, so that not only does a poor minimum wage grocery person who's been through enough and goes through enough with customer service without the pandemic. I call it a pandemic. I'll tell you why later. Yes. This way they don't have to, I save someone else the trouble, and I'm the one who helps the most when the chips are down.
Oh, there it is.
The reason I call it a pandemic is because I like to imagine a cartoon character that explains the pandemic to kids, and he's a panda named Mick.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's just 2 words, Panda Mick, and in my head, that's a character someone should have made and nobody did. Which bumps me out. So I refer to it. So that's how I was gentle with myself. I remind myself of how just how helpful I think Bob can be.
That's good. And that's a unique trait nowadays. People tend to move through life. They got their earbuds in, they're ignoring, they got their blinders on. Please don't bother me. And it's nice to help someone. In fact, I think that is a major component that's really not listed in grapes for making you feel happier or more fulfilled in life, is to actually help other people. I have a good friend named Josh Lawson who really sort of taught me that lesson that, when you go and reach out and help other people, you don't think about your own problems as much. You're
Yeah.
concentrating on theirs.
How tall is Josh?
Oh, he might be an inch or so shorter than me, I think.
Okay, you're like what, 6'1", 6'2"?
I'm 6. I'm about 6, yeah.
Okay, I'm 5. Okay, so he's about my height. Okay, I just wanted to know.
Is that do you usually take advice just based on the height of the person?
No, why would you ask
okay.
that?
Okay,
That's
I didn't
absurd.
know if you went to a very short therapist, you'd be like, nah, I can't.
I might not. Yeah, because they got more they got more anger issues than the rest of the taller therapists.
A therapist with a Napoleon complex.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. So that's good. So very helpful, and
Yes.
and also you went on a walk. I mean, that's a double whammy grape.
Well, that is a double whammy for I think a different part of the grape.
Yeah, that's the
that may be deeper, closer to the seed.
That's closer. That would be the exercise one. The E.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Should we go out of order? I think we should just hit the R.
Yeah, the R is relaxation, which is like getting the proper amount of sleep, taking a nap, or just not working yourself into you're so anxious, making sure that you get, good rest, and maybe if you can't sleep, just to meditate, or just to rest for a bit and relax,
Oh, absolutely.
You get 8 hours a night, or what's your what's your pattern now?
LOL. No. 8 hours. The weekends, I have a bad habit of, okay, we'll save it for the weekend, which means you're kind of foggy throughout the day.
You save all the sleep for the weekend?
Yeah, all of it. No, I'm a good. I think 7 would be good, and the 6 is not quite enough. That was good in my 30s. I could hang on a good 6, and I'm like, all right. And now, and that's back when I was over on Earth One, when I was just doing different three-dimensional comedy clubs and whatnot. Laughter Birth, Chuckling Duckling, the Haha Mart, all those places. But then it's like it just catches up with you, and I'm back here on what you guys call Earth One, because everyone calls their Earth One because we're idiots. But that's for another time. So yeah, relaxation. It's frustrating because I'll be like trying to take a nap and then I'll meditate by accident. I didn't want awareness right now. What I wanted.
I didn't mean to reach a higher plane of existence.
Oh no, I meant to reach a lower plane of my bed. I guess we curse on this now. All right, but
I cursed earlier by accident.
Oh, did you really?
You can bleep it. I mean, it's
we're all adults. We're serious adults. We're red-blooded American males who pee out of our wieners like men, and taxpayers. Right? I think I'm not wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. So those are the things. You actually, yeah.
Right in that spot.
I will be in this spot all week, as facing the other way, filming my GI Joe adventures.
So you kind of not getting enough rest is what I'm.
No. Hey, it's hard. We're a lot of us a million miles an hour. I think it was a holdover from when I did the New York pandemic. I told you I called it that. I was in New York.
Pandemski because I just think it sounds a little more snazzy.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
And then sometimes if I'm on stage, I'll say, I'll go pandemic or Panera. Am I right?
Yeah.
Red restaurant. And
right. I was going to say,
rolls.
Wait, yes, you got to go where your bread is buttered.
Yeah. I told Zoltan once as an aside, and he goes, oh, you got to do that on stage. And so I do it now as I go, yeah, I don't think you're supposed to gain weight in an emergency.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny. That's my real pandemic, my only pandemic joke.
No,
I feel like people are gonna be so sick of mask jokes and pandemic jokes.
Oh god.
That like in a year that is gonna be the airline food.
I think we're getting there too already.
I think we're already there, honestly.
We're already there. No one wants to hear about the mask and the thing. Oh, really? There's like 8 different dudes think they thought of the joke that if you sneeze in your mask, it's like defecating in your pants with your clothes on instead of a toilet like you're supposed to. I don't know why I phrased it that way. I thought it was fun. But you know what I'm saying? Like 8 dudes think they thought of that, and they all They all suck. I don't
I thought of this the other day when I put my mask on. I was like, I think I was at the Madhouse or somewhere, and I put the mask on, and it reeked because my cat had peed
Oh,
on it. I guess my cat had peed on the sweatshirt
yeah.
and the mask, and I just thought, I'm breathing in cat pee, and I'm going, I think if I could survive this, I'm gonna make, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a
Right.
vaccine for breathing in cat pee vapors, but
I think cat pee might be the vaccine. I think that's the second Moderna.
knock on wood.
It's just cat pee.
The cat just sprays you in the face, and you're like, good to go.
It's like, I mean, I feel bad because then you go to CVS and you go there 4 in the afternoon. That cat is exhausted.
The cat's name is Johnson and Johnson.
They got. It's a Siamese cat. There's two. It's a two-headed cat. That's what a Siamese cat means. It's a two-headed cat. Johnson and Johnson, some asshole named it, and it just pees in people's faces so that they can go to bar and say, "You can't make me wear a mask. A cat peed in my face." And then they dance to Drake, who's new and cool. I don't know. I took a shot.
I think it's young Drake now. Young Lil Drake.
It should have been young Drake earlier, if by definition. Who cares?
I know. Well, it's like a Benjamin Button thing with youth.
Yes. Well, be that as it may, what about your relaxation? How are you hanging?
So I'm thinking that maybe it's a mixture of too much, like too much sleeping in, and not good rest. Meaning, like I wake up like I can't breathe. When you get too fat, you get like sleep apnea. And I gave my machine away when I lost weight, and now I gained weight, and now I can't breathe. So I'll wake up like, like my throat is dry, my mouth is dry. So I got like these nose things, and Anna and I are trying different things for snoring. Because we'll both snore and wake the other person up.
That's
so we
hilarious.
Kind of go through like
and
like, and I'm like, and then the cats jump on me. So I feel like it's not a restful sleep. It's kind of like erratic. But last night I slept, I had earplugs in, I had like this nose thing in, I had a facial mask on, and I put a pillow, and I was just like, and so like I slept like a dead person last night, and so that was pretty good. I feel better today too. I feel like
good.
Actually getting good rest, it made a difference. I was in a okay mood, so that helped.
There it is. I have to be in a good mood. I get headaches very easily.
Do you?
If I'm in a slightly bad mood, or like one beer, I don't know what it is with my headaches. I've been drinking some water to prevent fatigue and headaches and whatnot, but that'll teach me.
You're not a big water guy in general, right? You're mostly
actually no. Now I'm like mostly water.
Oh, that's good.
I drink mostly water. Yeah, I drink mostly water, and a little bit something else that happens to be sponsoring us today, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll pay some bills a little bit later on.
Yes.
So it looks like we do have an imbalance of our relaxation is a little bit teeter-tottering, but that'll be something to work on, and we could figure out a way to work on that. Now correct me if I'm wrong, is because I don't know these half as well as you. Is that accomplishments or something?
Yeah, and accomplishment doesn't have to be something like big. It could be something really small, like
thank God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
I'd have to end the podcast, right? Sweet Jesus.
All right, we're done. Leave me to.
You guys were great. Tip the veal, try the waitress.
But it's funny how like little things can make a difference, like I personally feel like when you're really depressed, it's hard to even get up. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to do anything. Like you just want to isolate, be alone, and wallow, But it's funny how like one little thing will get the momentum going in a different direction. So accomplishment could be something as small as like I made my bed, I did the dishes, I did laundry, or even something smaller, like I got up and took a shower, went outside. Like if you're really in a bad way, anything can be an accomplishment that you can feel good about. That's besides just like laying there doing nothing. So honestly, just getting up can be an accomplishment. And I think writing that down, saying I did this today, I actually did something, that's we're not talking about winning a Nobel Prize, we're just talking about getting out of bed practically.
Yeah. Well, what's helping me with I'll just tell you, it goes faster that way.
Okay.
We'll just otherwise that would be a colossal waste of time. You would just be guessing 18 things, and the whole thing would be and the listeners would get annoyed because why is he just naming things?
And also you put multiple choice in chat, so I have to choose what you're gonna
What's
tell me
helping
about.
me?
Pick anecdote A, B, or C.
LOL. What's helping me is post-it notes with my accomplishments.
Really?
It's just the simplest thing. It's the simplest thing. It'll be something really simple like I hate to pick laundry. It's an obvious one, but that'll be one of them. It'll be laundry, or it'll be
It'll
pay
be buy
your
more post-it notes.
right. That'll be a huge one. Or pay your internet or phone bill or whatever, just because I know it's due, and it's like, I'll just pay it. But it's one of those things that's not. It's like I'll put it off because when I build up 6 or 7 tiny stupid chores, the problem is now I forget all of them,
Yes.
and then I'll do none of them.
Yes.
And even though they're really dumb little things like, oh Jesus, I mean, the trash, thankfully, because trash can smell and that will remind you, so I'm actually pretty good with that.
That's true.
But for example, the for all of us who've been working at home or not working, whatever, I keep a very tight scruff on my face here, but I really hate neck beards. Like after 2 days, I have to shave it. But sometimes when you say that little accomplishment, I don't have to write that one down, but that little accomplishment of, oh, I took and that doesn't take long. I took 2-3 minutes to get rid of the thing. That's
big.
I feel cleaner and like I deserve to chasing whatever job I'm applying to or whatever the fuck.
Yes, I think like just a little bit of that grooming is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like taking a shower when you just want to lay there for days. That's a big one, man.
Well, it's for me, it's a nude body wash, but yes, like it's not because that's what we called it on Earth One, but here we call it a shower because America, we just kind of whatever. I'm not going to get into
those never nudes on Earth One. Those guys that wear.
I don't know what those are.
Okay. They wear jeans in the shower. You never heard of them?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think Aquaman was a never nude because he was always wearing jeans in that stupid movie.
That's pretty.
That's for another.
I liked it, but it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. If they took 2.5 hours off, it was a good film.
Yeah, I think if it was another movie, it would have been good. Probably.
Had to be careful there. So for accomplishments, I think I'm getting better. Those little things do help. The
little things do help, like shaving. You just feel better. You get a little haircut or a shave, or you just do the laundry, and you feel better. And the other thing about that is, you mentioned it earlier, when those tasks mount up, they become overwhelming, and then sort of subconsciously they get to you. Subconsciously you're not even realizing, like, I'm living in clutter. I have all these things hanging over me that I need to do, and then you kick one, but okay, I did taxes or something, and you're like, actually, it is that feeling of a weight like lifting off of you.
Yeah.
So even if it's a little one, it's huge,
Yeah. Taxes was one of them. That was one of them on my post-it note that I did. I'm usually pretty good. Usually I do it in February. This year was like late March, but whatever. It got done. I didn't, and thankfully I didn't know there was going to be a deadline extension, because if I did know that, I guarantee I would have waited another month or 6 weeks to do it.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was April 15th, and I'm just like, do it March 20 something. And then I did. And oh man, that felt terrific.
Yeah.
It really felt
I'm a
terrific.
huge procrastinator. And so I feel like it's just living with stress all the time by putting stuff off, like, I'll get to it later. But yeah, when you get to it right away and just knock a couple things off, you just really feel a lot better. So I think that's a good one. I don't know if you have any specifics. You were talking about shaving. Like for me, I don't know if I have anything really. Like, I've been trying to do this every day. So every day this week, I didn't have a lot of work, so I was just cleaning up the house. Anna has moved in, and
that's right.
The cats have moved in, so we're doing a lot to consolidate our stuff. So I've been cleaning up, throwing things away. I ran this internet cord into the office so that we could do this podcast today.
That's right.
So there were some of those things. I feel like accomplishment is probably one that I'm doing the best on. I think.
Okay, good.
Because they're all small. So if it's like take out the trash, do the dishes, I've been really good about that, especially this week. Where sometimes I'm not. But
Sure.
this week I've been really good about that.
I'm also pretty good. I hope this doesn't bleed into others. I'm pretty good about making projects for myself. There's a great quote from Jesse Ventura, who was the governor of the WWF or something, and he says, "I wake up with nothing to do, and at the end of the day, I'm half done." Like, he's making projects for himself. So, and part of that is finding out whether or not he can make the shot that Oswald allegedly couldn't make. But either way, it's still a goal he set for himself. So whether it's putting on that shower and everyone's making a joke, remember when was the last time you wore pants? Everyone wore pants, and you didn't wear any pants during. You did wear pants during a pandemic, you fucking idiots. But like for me, it's socks.
Pants, damn it.
Once I put socks on, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like part of the world.
Yeah.
It's been so ridiculous to be barefoot during Zoom job interviews, because a Zoom job interview is stupid enough.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't let them know that I'm in my home. Like I am. They know that I'm in my house. And but it's so weird. Like I could feel my toes on the carpet. Like, you shouldn't be talking to me. I'm like 6 inches to the right of the screen that they can't see is He-Man and Battle Cat. What are we doing? It's so preposterous.
You don't think they'd help you get the job if they saw the?
Oh, He-Man would. Oh, dude, he's he's a cool fucking dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he talks with an echo, so you gotta just love that dude. you gotta love that motherfucker. He's all right.
I think that definitely segues right into P, which is, pleasure, doing something fun just for yourself that you enjoy.
Yeah,
and I see evidence of it right behind you
there. Oh, absolutely. I don't know if my webcam will do it justice, but this is this is a 19 they call him 1995 Godzilla there.
Wow.
He's burning. So this is when they killed him in 95, and he because he's a nuclear reactor basically, and he was burned alive, and they killed him so a smaller one could take his place.
Wow.
Basically, because I think in reality the suit was getting too big, and my good friend Luke of the Earth Destructive podcast, maybe I'll put a link later, we can explain that better. But for the Godzilla fans, Goji, Carl, if you're out there as well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So most of the Bob Squad knows what's up, but those things, the man-child or Peter Pan syndrome or mom's basement, that hacky joke everyone thinks they wrote. All of the things they can say, most of these toys, almost all of them I got during a pandemic about a year ago. I was working. I'm going to keep calling it that. I was working, and I just thankful. So I had money coming in, and I was really just working remotely, and I was just bored out of my skull, nowhere to go. And I just started meeting these cool dudes online, and they're just the most helpful, chillest dudes too. Are all of them social wizards? No, but like, how many stones am I going to throw? So so I just ended up collecting a lot of stuff and making videos for those guys. So that's an accomplishment in itself. It's like I'm just making my own mini movies and entertaining these dudes. And I always said, I don't care if it's 20 views or a couple of hundred, doesn't matter, because if 20 people watched it, those are 20 quality views. So I know 20, I shouldn't just say dudes, gals can watch it as well.
Listen, Anna and I watched your unboxing video the other day.
Oh, good.
And we loved it. It was so funny watching you. You were unboxing, I think, the Panther figure.
Yes. Skeletor rides Panther of
Panther, yeah. And I think you kept referring to the different figure, a Skeletor or something. I mean,
I was messing
laughing.
Around.
She got a real kick out of it. I did too.
Good.
But at the end of it, she goes, "That was fun. That was like we got to hang out with Bob for 20 minutes."
Yeah.
And I definitely recommend that to people that haven't seen some of Bob's videos. He's got incredible YouTube videos of both stop motion animation stuff with G.I. Joe, unboxing videos.
That'll kill an afternoon. Yeah.
And one of my favorite things was your old workout videos that you used to do.
Oh, back in the day, yeah. Those were
building
fun.
Muscle with Bob.
Building muscle with Bob, and that's the really Bob doesn't build as much muscle as he used to build. But I have fun. Yeah, I have this wrestling podcast going on. So the accomplishments are in addition to the real life stuff, which I probably lag a little bit on some of those. I make things. I make projects for myself to do, and I'm happier when I do them.
Yeah.
You will be happier at the end of it. It was when I first heard the grapes, it was you who told me a long time ago. It was like, well, the happiness is work.
Yeah.
So you do the work, and believe me, it's fun work. I don't feel like I'm not sweating. I'm not looking at the clock, except for holy crap, it's 2:30 in the morning. Other than that, I'm not looking at the clock. So there's
so it's all connected. Like the accomplishment is partly pleasure, which is also impacting your rest.
And so I went backwards. And we are
it's
a
all
little heavy.
connected.
What does your pleasure consist of?
Well, gosh, I mean that's a good question. I really enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy performing on podcasts. We have the one that we have is Awful Neutral, which is like a comedy Dungeons and Dragons podcast. And I really enjoy the role playing, doing different voices, voice acting.
Yeah.
So for me, that is one of my favorite things I get to do is podcasting. Doing some stand up. I did a little stand up this week.
Yes. What happened with stand up this week?
Well, when stand up goes well, it's fun. When it goes poorly, it's not so fun. But the last few shows have been good, even though some of the sort of situations that you go in are tough. I always feel like the best show is when people are paying to see comedy. It doesn't matter the venue. Like, so I did Bear Roots Brewery, and Bajan and I both did Bear Roots Brewery up in Vista, and we really enjoyed it because Aaron Frescas, he runs this terrific show. It was outdoors, but normally it's inside, but for capacity it was indoors. And what was great about it was he had good lighting, good audio, and moreover he had people that were not ambushed with a show. It wasn't like
the ambush shows,
people watching sports in a sports bar, and all of a sudden they're like, let's turn that off, now listen to my dick jokes.
Totally.
So those are just the worst.
Those are always the worst. That's
ambush shows are the worst. But a ticketed, when someone is anticipating comedy, and especially these people that have come back to his shows because he books good comics and he doesn't book too many, that's the other thing that people make the mistake of. Bookers will book 12 comics thinking, let's give them more. That is too much. You want 3 comics. At the most like 5 or 6, but like 3 is the optimal. 90 minutes is optimal. And a lot of these breweries and places will be like, we want the show to go on for 3 hours, and it's people cannot stand that much.
What happens with that is that then the show, whatever flyer or poster for the show, has like the back. It looks like the back of an old GI Joe package. Like there's 20 more guys, collect them all, and there's like 98 characters that are all new to you, and it looks really exciting. And then you buy them, and it's actually still awesome because it's GI Joe. But we're not talking. But in this case, it's like, hey, are you willing to be cool and patient enough to listen to 6 not famous people? How about 8 more?
Yeah,
just to squeeze.
I noticed that by the time Destro gets up, half the crowd has left.
Yeah, and Destro's one of the best dudes.
And I came to see Destro, but he can't even really show what he's about when like half the audience leaves and the other half is bored by that time.
Because everybody already did all their their weapons and arms dealer jokes, and now he's got nothing.
Yeah. Then Cobra Commander's got to clean up that mess.
Right. Who was voiced by a stand-up comedian, by the way.
Oh yeah.
A guy named Chris Latta. He's dead now. He's not alive, but he was alive at the time. Now he's done like a 180 since then. He was also the guy on Seinfeld who I think he played the criminal who got tackled on the subway train when they were stuck on the subway.
Huh.
Little fun fact. How about that?
That's
hey,
cool.
Now you know something. Everybody, I help people. That's what I do.
Yeah,
so Bob helps people. Okay, so we're doing. So we've sought out our pleasures, and we're pretty solid. We got 2 left. Exercise is an easy one.
It's an easy one for you.
Well, not always. I missed the day this week. Exercise. It's one of the few things I think I've done like right, I guess, over time, because no one can really take it away from you.
Yeah.
It's like if people can take your money, you can have bad relationships. You can get fired or laid off. You can get hit by a bus. That would be really awful if you get hit by a bus, right? No one wants that. But they can't stop you from exercising.
No.
So
that's why you mentioned they can take your money. I remember doing a stupid joke once where I said like, "Hey guys, I just lost 50 pounds," and they're like, Oh, I got mugged in England.
They're fucking jokes.
So I probably, am not the first person to do that joke. But in any case, yeah, so exercise is something you've been good at for a very long time. You've been very consistent at that.
Better at
From
it.
the weightlifting and
Yeah,
yoga and all kinds of stuff.
I insist. I always do 4 days of weightlifting a week, and I did mine today. Wednesday, I was in a mood. I missed my yoga. Wednesday's usually yoga day.
Mm.
I don't usually miss it, but it was just one of those days. I'm just not in the mood. What I have been doing to supplement, and what's because I'm a procrastinator as well. So what happens is your day starts to get away from you because you want to work out, but then you put it off. So because then I'm just looking at my computer. I'm creating video things to do, so I don't have to exercise. The walk that we mentioned earlier is so huge because it's just like 20 minutes. I took one earlier, so I've lifted my weights today. Did an hour of that, and I did like a 20-minute walk. I like to do that before I do any kind of talking, or it kind of clears my brain up, and I just remember stuff better, and I get less headaches and stuff. So I've been doing that actually. Usually not today was after, but usually it's before a workout, so that I'm just moving again, and now I just want to move. And it's so huge for your mood. Even if you don't live in a place that's tons of sunshine, get the air. And if you live in a place that doesn't have sunshine or fresh air, if you don't have either of those, move out of Queens. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, we are very lucky living in San Diego that really year round, we can take a walk outside, get fresh air and sunlight. And sunlight is one of those huge things that really helps with depression. Like it's a vitamin D deficiency. A lot of people that live in places that don't get a lot of sun and don't take vitamin D, they have seasonal depression. And I think that we're very lucky to have
one season. Yes,
one season. Yeah,
that's why we don't have
seasonal depression, depressed year round.
Yeah, that's the worst. I think we've all been making that joke for 15 years, but it's hard not to. Get the sunshine in the air. Get the
sunshine in the air is huge, and that's really the only real exercise I've been doing is taking walks. I mean, that is probably the letter in grapes that I have always struggled the most with.
Yeah.
I had a personal trainer for a couple years, and we worked out 4 times a week and weightlifting and the whole thing. And when she moved away, I mean, that was, that I never got another one, and I really haven't worked out properly since then. So that's the one I've neglected the most, and I have a lot of regret about that. But at least I'm getting out daily, taking a walk.
Take those walks.
It is really huge for your mood, especially if you work from home or you stay at home a lot, or you're just isolated a lot. Even getting out, listening to some music, enjoying the outdoors and seeing people, not even necessarily interacting with them, but just seeing other human beings walking around and living is helpful.
Yeah. The idea of community is I think goes away as time goes on, because now our communities they're online, or they're in our phone, on our phones, and our phones in our pockets. So most of our community is just in our pants in a way. And it's time to reach into our pants and take the community out, and just go out and see the people and just show them that you're just as good out here as what's in my pants.
Yeah.
You need to be reminded people exist. There have been days here out in San Diego where it's like the only person I've talked to was like the kid at the Subway restaurant. And I hate that kid, honestly. He sucks. I don't think he works there anymore.
Old Double Meat Dave.
No, I wish. No, because he always asks me, like, what are you doing tonight? I was like, what are you doing? He's like friendly, like, what are you doing tonight? Like, motherfucker, it's 8:00 on a Friday. I'm like, do you think I'm going out after eating Subway? Like, what the hell is the matter with you? You close at 9. Like, what are you doing? We're not doing anything. There's a pandemic going on. And I just ordered a 12-foot sandwich from Subway that's made out of yoga mat bread. What the hell
I don't know how you go in there. I cannot go in there.
Where do you think I'm going?
Feet is just. Is that what they're making? Is they're baking feet?
Yes,
not a fan.
Yes. But I mean, over time you do recover from the agony of defeat.
Good point.
Then go beer all week. So exercise is one of those ones where, I mean, I do okay. I beat myself up for missing that 20-minute yoga thing. It's just 20 minutes of me standing up. I don't even get down on my knees anymore.
Well, you know what's
But
good
still.
exercise is beating yourself up.
Yeah. Like a savage beast. That's the
Well,
one.
really, the E for both of us kind of segues into the S, because going out and taking
Yes.
walks and seeing other people is part of social for S. And I think social's the toughest one during the pandemic, really, being isolated and being away from people and literally having to stay 6 feet away and covering people's faces so you can't even see them smile. There's a psychological effect from that.
Social, thankfully, in the last week and a half, I got way better. Because when I moved here, when I moved back here to San Diego, everybody was still all kind of locked down and everything else. And it was just me and the kid at Subway who asked too many questions. So I started going to the wings place next door. They don't ask any questions except like, do you want bread or fries? And I want bread. Thank you. But be that as it may, social was great. In the last week and a half, one of my comedy friends from New York, Allie, moved back here, hung out with her.
Awesome.
Of course, my ex-girlfriend, I'm still friendly with, Alyssa. We went for like a hike or stuff like last Friday. And last night, this was awesome. I waited until we recorded to tell you this. So I went to the Comedy Store La Jolla and I saw our old buddy Steven Garza for the first time in 9 years. Wow. And it was awesome. He's the greatest. I love his hair. He's got nice flowing hair. He was so hilarious. He was so hilarious.
Did he do any crowd work? I know, his material. He did all material.
No, it was all material. I mean, he was featuring for Eleanor Kerrigan, who should be, I don't know if you know her. Eleanor Kerrigan should be a household name. I put her up there on the quality of human and the quality of comedy with Vicky Barbalak, who you've been around the country with. I put the two up there and way up there. Eleanor Kerrigan, it was so cool. And so me and Garza, we got to catch up. I don't know by his last name, but me and Steven, we caught up on some old times and shared various LA versus New York war stories and that kind of stuff. And when I saw him, the first thing I said to him, because I was on the sidewalk, and as he came out, a split second before he could figure out it was me, I said, "Remember that cafe in Paris?"
That waiter.
And he turns and he goes, "That waiter," and we look at each other at the same time and Jean-Luc, and that was the greeting. And I planted that. I had it in my head on purpose. I'm like, make sure we do that.
Still remembers the bit.
Yes, of course. And he was laughing about some time. I trapped him for hours, telling about conspiracy theories and everything else.
Yeah,
9/11 and everything. And
they're much more mainstream now.
Yeah, no.
When you were here years ago, conspiracy theory. You're like a conspiracy hipster. You were into it way before it was cool, man.
Yeah, I think I got out when it was, thankfully
you got out before it got dark.
Oh yeah, no, before it became a whole other thing. But catching up with him was great, and also Eleanor Kerrigan was one of the awesome headliners who, to my surprise, again, this was a case just with some other folks a few weeks ago. I thought, oh, she's not going to recognize me. I was a door guy. I saw her 8 years ago, maybe, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, "Yeah, I remember you. You were the wrestler. How was New York?"
Awesome.
I was like, I can't. And she was so cool. And she held court and told us stories to like 1 a.m. at the store of old legends. Because we lost Carl LeBove and Paul Mooney in the last week or so. And she told great stories about them and Sam Kinison and Argus Hamilton and Mitzi Shore, of course, and told us all these legendary stories. And
that's amazing. How fun.
So much fun. Just like, and no one else. It was just the staff and me, and they let me in. I'm, honorary staff or what have you. And we just got to, and really, I mean, we let, just let and I love that when everyone just gathers around and just let the veteran lead and just shut up and listen, because no one does that anymore.
Yeah. Carl LeBove, when he used to do that, I mean, you couldn't get enough. You just wanted it to go all night.
Yeah. So my social was good for my S and grapes. We are running a bit heavy on the grapes. I think we're gonna have to do a sponsor in a theater and powder out soon. But powder out's a wrestling term for the for the nerds out there. But
Well, this was the important part. Was the
This
goal.
was the
That's
most,
what we're doing
yeah,
it for. Yeah.
exactly. That was really the biggie, and we'll work on it. It's the first episode, folks. One of
Yes.
them's got to be the
Pilot, baby.
first. All right, it's a pilot, and we are flying
Yeah. Flying
with
blind, baby.
flying blind with 19 guys with box cutters. Wait, what? No, 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 no. Oh no.
Hopefully
Um,
not.
but again, that's because I had things lined up. I mean, ask me
Yeah.
again in a week what my social was, and I might say a week ago we talked on Zoom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't.
social's a tough one. It's easier for me because I live with Anna, so I get to see someone every day, and but when you are at home and you're alone, it's like you have to make that effort, So
Yeah.
that's awesome that you did that, went out and got to see some
And
comedy
I've
too.
been I hate to, I know we're going along on this, but I have to tell myself to get out of the house, like I would, like talking to like Luigi the pit bull, the dog I used to take care of.
Yeah.
I'd be like, go say hi, come on, go say hi, because he'll be like shy or whatever, like go say hi. And then once you get out there, like, oh, this is great, I'm so glad I went out.
Yeah.
But force yourself to get out, drag, because I'm not, eager. I was like, I want to stay inside. I want to stay inside. I want to stay inside, play with toys. I want to stay inside. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see anybody. And the second I saw Garza and we said Jean-Luc, I'm like, you made the right call.
It's the best.
You should not have missed this.
I do that to myself all the time, where I go,
Yeah.
I got this show tonight. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go out. I'm hating it. It's like I want to quit. And then
Yeah.
as soon as I go out and I come home and I tell Anna, gosh, I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I went out. It was so healthy for me. So
It's the best.
social's huge. And I get plenty of that walking around OB and talking to her. I think that's an easy one for
Sure.
me, even though, most people wouldn't think this, but I'm really an introvert, so I kind of avoid that kind of stuff for the most part. But it is work and it's important to do it, but it makes you feel better afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. You make it's like exercise and the walk and all that. The walk is exercise. You make yourself do it, and then you're like, oh, I'm so glad I made myself do that. Because then later, when I'm watching season 1 of Masters of the Universe, I'm up to episode 28 of only 102 to go of He-Man. Then I'm like, I deserve this. Instead of when I would be watching it and be like, oh, I feel like crap, I'm just gonna watch this. I end up enjoying the stuff so much better.
Let me ask you this: if you had to rate your level of grapes this week, like if we say, on a 1 to 5 scale, like how would you put this one? Like for me, I would consider mine like a 3, because I feel like I fall down a lot on gentle with self and exercise, but it's like those are my goals for next week, is to try to do better on it. I wouldn't give myself a 5 out of 5, because those two I just really think I can improve on.
I could do 3. I could maybe do 3.5. Not to be the one-upmanship guy, because I hate those guys.
I think that's great.
But and that's because what it is, because the social, I had way more social things lined up than I had, probably the most since I've lived back here for 6 months.
Yeah.
So the social is really what puts it over. Without that, it would be 2. It would be like 2.
Yeah.
But the social kind of, because I had a few extra things going on, which hopefully just keeps continuing as more things open up and we get more cat pee in our veins.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Need that second spray.
Why don't we pay some bills and
right.
and I'll tell you about a couple of movies.
Are you a goose? Are you a swan, sir? Now here's a word from a sponsor.
This first episode of Beachtown is brought to you by Dr. Pepper Zero. Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, the one you recommended. You thought I was going to go diet. I went with zero. I tried it out. It tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. So what you want to do, if you guys go to coca-cola.com/Dr. Pepper Zero, type in the code Beachtown, and absolutely nothing happens. They don't want anything. They don't know about this. They probably prefer that I not do this. Look, there's still left. I drank it all. That's how good it is. I didn't even have like a half thing, and I take a sip like some fake movie asshole, and then like put it aside and go. No, I drank the whole thing. So check out Dr. Pepper Zero. I got it at my local Target, and put it in the code Beachtown. Watch nothing happen.
It's a great product, and we hope that one day they will sponsor us.
Want to talk about movies?
Popcorn and previews, movies and reviews at the theater. at the theater.
Yes, I want to hear what you've seen this week. I really want to hear Bob's movie reviews. I'm so excited.
Okay. Now, ordinarily, we're probably just going to do one movie, but because it's the first one, we're special. We're going to do 3 movies. All right. I'm going to put them in. I'm going to do them in order that they came out, released in the cinema. One of them stars Orson Welles. The other stars Judd Nelson. The third, Jess, stars Judd Nelson versus Orson Welles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
This is an incredible crossover.
I didn't know it was going to happen, and I didn't know we needed it.
Oh my gosh. Orson
Okay.
Welles was in Breakfast Club.
He should have been. Oh my God. He would have been so mean. He would have been even meaner than the dude who was going to bust skulls.
The guy who's always like, I like how he points with his pinky out, the principal guy.
Yeah.
You.
I'm a newspaper man. I'm going to bust skulls. What? The first film, of course, obviously was Citizen Kane. So I'll just give you. And by the way, we're spoiling all these. Okay, if the newest one of these is 35 years old, so it's knock it off.
If you haven't seen Citizen Kane,
I
you don't need to, because here's Bob's review.
Yeah, you don't need to. Basically, there's no need to watch this film. So basically, this is what happened on Citizen Kane. Okay, so it's like black and white, and then you see like a guy with a mustache. You just see his mustache close, and he says Rosebud. No one knows what the fuck that means. And then so they use like a CGI to make him sound all old timey and stuff, and like a CGI to make him to put him in black and white. You understand? And then then they go back and he's a kid and he's in the snow and there's a sled or something. That part's not important. And then for some reason his mom sells him to a bank, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. And then he grows up and then he becomes like a mean rich guy, and he hates his not stepfather dad, like because the bank owns him or something. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. But anyway, that guy dies because he's 1,000 years old. I mean, he was like 58 in the 40s, so that guy's like he's over the hill. And then the Kane, the citizen, he grows up and then he's a newspaper guy and he has a wife, and then that marriage doesn't work out because he's pretty mean, and she gets tired of him buying statues in Europe and bringing them home, because if there's one thing women hate, it's when you buy a bunch of stuff and leave it around and it collects dust for no reason that you don't need, right? So then he gets like a second wife, and like she wants to be an opera singer, and then I guess she's not a good opera singer, because everyone said she sucked, but I can't tell the difference. I'm an idiot. So anyway, the newspaper gives her a bad review, and then he fires one of his friends for getting drunk and giving his wife a bad opera singing review, and then he dies alone with some nurses, and there's a snow globe. Remember the snow globes? Like he's got one of those, and it falls on the floor. And then there's a bunch of glass, and then a bunch of people who inherit his crap don't know what Rosebud means, because a nurse said that was his last word. They just believe her. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, so they're trying to figure out what it is. Was it another mistress? Was it this? Was it that? And then they throw a bunch of his stuff in a fire. And I think Rosebud was the snow globe.
Good synopsis. So
Thank you.
Let me ask you, Bob, what's your overall review of this movie? How would you summarize how you felt about the film?
Arguably, the greatest film ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What an incredible review.
Thank you.
How can you compare that to the next?
We're going to find out. Because you'd think, oh my God, I probably should have ended with that one if it's arguably the greatest film ever made. The second film starred Judd Nelson. Now this and Molly Ringwald,
equally important in cinema history,
if not more. And Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall, and a guy who played a wrestler, like a jock, like an amateur wrestler, and like an angry principal guy. This is called The Breakfast Club. Okay.
Great film. Yeah.
So a bunch of kids get detention, you understand? And they're not really bad kids. So one of them actually is a bad kid, he's an asshole, but he's got fingerless gloves, so we just kind of forgive him, and he doesn't tie his boots. So I don't know why he doesn't show. There's a mosquito. I want to get it. I want to get this motherfucking mosquito. I'll get him later. So anyway, the Breakfast Club, so everyone's upset. They got detention, and they're not allowed to like even study. They just have to sit there and stare, except for when they're supposed to write an essay about who they are, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. I've never heard of that, of all the detentions in every high school. But this guy, this angry teacher guy really likes being the detention guy. I'm going to get this goddamn moth. Oh, wait, no, I didn't get him. Son of a bitch. Sorry, that's going to distract me. So anyway, Judd Nelson, he's got fingerless gloves. So he's still got cold fingers. I don't know what the hell because he can't type. So I don't know what the hell he's going to write. But he doesn't write his essay anyway. It doesn't really matter. And then he antagonizes everyone, and the wrestler jock wants to kick his ass, and he's picking on the nerd, and he's mouthing off to the teacher, and then the teacher's not very happy with him, and he's mean to the popular hot girl Molly Ringwald. And there's a weird girl in the back who's like, being goofy and just makes wacky noises, and we don't know what her problem is. But she's drawing funny pictures and just being goofy. And then they have lunch, and all their lunches are really gross, and the wrestler's eating too much, and the dorky kid has his mom make his lunch, and it's a whole thing. And of course the Judd Nelson kid, eventually the kids bond, because by this point it's noon, so they're all best friends, right? And then that part doesn't make any sense. And like, they're all crying about their lives. And the punk kid, Judd Nelson's, like, his dad beats him. And that's really sad. But then they get kind of over it. And then the other girl, the popular girl, cries because she's popular. And that didn't make any sense. And the weird girl at first pretended to be slutty, but then she said she wasn't slutty, and I don't understand. And then the Anthony Michael Hall dorky kids, like, they start addressing teen suicide, but they kind of make fun of them. So I guess that wasn't important anyway. And then the wrestler, his dad was too demanding and wanted him to be tough, so he bullied a kid because he thought it would make his dad happy, but now he feels bad. And apparently he taped the kid's butt cheeks together with duct tape. He just taped his butt, and they didn't show that in the movie. Like, that should have opened the whole thing. Like, Orson Welles would have showed it. But so eventually the principal guy gets like chewed out by the janitor for being shitty, and then a principal guy challenges the team to a fist fight, and somehow that was all right. So then Judd Nelson is really mean. He's really mean to Molly Ringwald, and he calls her all these bad names. So she gets back at him by having sex with him in the closet, and then they convince the dorky kid to write all their essays. So the moral of the story is, if you're really an asshole to the pretty girl, she'll like you if you're half sorry and have relations with you with the nudity and the genital and the thrust things in the broom closet. And the dorky kid's going to do your homework anyway. And on Monday, no one's going to be friends. And that was The Breakfast Club.
That's a good synopsis. And
thank you.
And they smoke pot in the library and nobody smells it, which is pretty amazing. And she uses dandruff to make snow.
That's true. Well, I think you can't smoke it when you're smelling it.
It's true.
Smell it when you're smoking it.
Great synopsis.
Thank you.
My real question is, give me your overall review of this film.
Okay. Arguably, the greatest film ever made.
Holy cow. Wow. Yeah. This is huge.
Yeah.
2 great films. So, boy, you could
what
really
a week
make
I
a case for the greatest of all. What about the crossover, the 3rd film in the series? How does this one play into it? And how did they get Judd Nelson and Orson Welles, 2 powerhouses, in the same film? How did that happen?
That film where we have Judd Nelson versus Orson Welles is 1986, 1 year after The Breakfast Club. Things got bigger for Judd Nelson. Transformers, the movie.
Oh.
That's when they put the words "the movie" after the name of the thing. So you knew it wasn't the cartoon. So when you went to the theater and watched at the movie theater with the popcorn and everything, and the ushers, and saw the trailers for other films you could watch in the near future, you knew, oh, it's the movie we're watching. It's not Transformers, the teaser for the 11 o'clock news. So you know what happened. This film not only stars Judd Nelson, it stars, actually, I'll tell you as we go by. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so Transformers, the movie, 1986, right? Happened. Okay, so there's a big planet. You've never seen it before. And then the planet it has some like weird like guys who don't transform. That sounds exciting for the Transformers movie, but they're these robotic guys. And then they're like, oh, one of them says, the guy's name is Nautilus, I think. Nautilus, look, it's Unicron. We don't know what the fuck Unicron is, right? So then this big munching circle thing just starts munching on this innocent planet. And you know these people are scientists because there's beakers. There's beakers everywhere, and the beakers are dropping, and they get their planet munched. And it's presumed that a giant genocide was just committed in the first minute of this children's movie. And then you hear this hyped up version of the Transformers, and you're like, oh my God, this is the craziest shit in the world. And the narrator goes in and he says, years from now, in the year 2005. And you're like, oh, this is the future. This is exactly what the future is, right? You see the Autobots, Optimus Prime, and he's a heroic leader, and he's got Ironhide and Jazz. And apparently it's 2005, and the Autobots are doing okay on Earth, but they're getting their ass kicked on Cybertron, which is their home planet. They have spaceships to go back and forth, and it's 2005, so they've been fighting for 20 years because the show is in real time, I guess. Not important right now. And Casey Kasem, who did the top countdown, he plays a cliff jumper, and they tell cliff jumper to do a countdown. Get it? Wink, wink, waka, waka. They're breaking more fourth walls than the Kool-Aid Man. God damn, it's absolutely bananas. So Casey Kasem does a countdown, and then Laserbeak, the metal bird, you know Laserbeak, he's spying on them. I did. I give you the action figure. Wow, you're very welcome. It's much fun. They spy on the Autobots, and now Megatron, he's evil. He's played by Frank Welker, who I think was also Scooby-Doo and like 90 other voices. So Frank Welker, I think he's knows
the Cave of Wonders.
What's that?
In Aladdin.
Oh yeah, with
Tom Diamond in the Rough.
Where Tom Hanks gets stuck on the island, yeah.
Exactly.
So
he throws the volleyball in the volcano.
That's right. And then Robin Williams puts his face in a pie, and he's like, "Good morning, Vietnam." So the Decepticons are spying on the Autobots, and then Starscream, who was played by Chris Latta, the stand-up comedian who also played Cobra Commander, who got 2 mentions in this podcast, says, "Much easier, Megatron, than attacking the Autobots' moon base." And Frank Welker tells him to shut up. He's an idiot. Some warriors never fail me, and whatever. So anyway, the Decepticons start slaughtering Autobots left and right. They kill Ironhide, they kill Ratchet, they kill Prowl, they kill Brawn, they leave them all dying. You see Wheeljack and Windcharger. Our favorites, our heroes are just dying left and right. And then we cut down to this Autobot named Hot Rod, played by Judd Nelson. And the Autobot is teaching this kid, Daniel, how to fish. They're fishing. That's awesome. And then the Autobot shuttle comes down, but there's a hole in it, and Hot Rod's like, "Holy balls, there's a hole in the shuttle." I'm paraphrasing. And then he starts shooting at it. And then this other guy named Ultra Magnus, who's new, he's played by Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh shit.
So awesome. Now Robert Stack and Judd Nelson are yelling at the ship and not knowing what the hell is going on, right? And then this new Autobot named Blur, who's played by the Micro Machines guy, John Moshida, who talked real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Blur's pretty much that guy. He just talks real fast and moves around real fast. So Micro Machines and Breakfast Club and Unsolved Mysteries are fighting the Decepticons, and Optimus Prime is like nuts to this. He lands, and you hear, "You got to touch. You got to." Donnie Wahlberg shows up, pulls his dick out, and then Optimus Prime starts firing away, and he's just laying laced all these motherfuckers, right? And then Optimus Prime and Megatron have one final. And we're only 20 minutes in the movie, and they have one final battle to the death. And Judd Nelson sees that Megatron has a gun hidden behind a rock or something, and Judd Nelson walks in. "No, you don't, Megatron." And then Megatron says, "Foolish Autobot, don't you forget about me." And he tells him all the place. I think that's what happened. And then Megatron shoots Prime, and Prime, doesn't want to die, and he goes, "Never!" And he does a double axe handle, and Megatron falls, and a dying Prime is helped up gently by the Autobots, and a dying Megatron is just dragged carelessly by the Decepticons. And there's all this juxtaposition, and it's totally crazy. But eventually, Megatron gets thrown out of the spaceship, and then Unicron, the planet, has powers, played by Orson Welles. The planet talks, and it's played by Orson Welles. Wow. And then Orson Welles transforms Megatron into Galvatron, who's played by Leonard Nimoy. So now Orson Welles is controlling Dr. Spock to go after Unsolved Mysteries and Breakfast Club and Micro Machines guy, and it's totally fucking bananas, right? But Optimus Prime dies, our beloved hero dies before our eyes, and it's really sad. And he passes the Matrix of Leadership, which is like a glowing blue thing, over to Ultra Magnus Unsolved Mysteries. And then the two teams go back and forth, and now they go on adventures. And Judd Nelson leads the Dinobots into a team played by a motorcycle that's voiced by Eric Idle from Monty Python.
Wow.
So now Monty Python and Judd Nelson and Unsolved Mysteries are fighting, and there's a bunch of dancing around, and Weird Al Yankovic's "Dare to Be Stupid" song is playing, and that's it's totally fucking bananas, right? And then eventually there's a big fight. They fight off Unicron and Galvatron, and they go into one of Unicron's eyes, and Judd Nelson fights Dr. Spock inside what is probably geographically the ass of Orson Welles, and they're fighting back and forth, and then the Matrix transforms Hot Rod into Rodimus Prime, so you have to buy two toys, and then he throws Galvatron outside the side of Orson Welles, and then he flies out, and then everyone says, "Till all are one," and that is Transformers the movie.
Wow. Impressive.
Thank you.
Impressive. Compared to the other two films, how would you rate and review Transformers the movie?
Okay. I'm glad you asked. Because I thought this one through, and I don't want to say the same thing for everyone. That gets kind of silly and repetitive. Arguably, the greatest film ever made.
Wow. Incredible. Bob, thank you so much for your movie reviews. I think it's been very insightful, and makes me want to go back and watch all three of those.
I would in that order, because I think it's an unsung trilogy in a way. Like, it's not literally connected, but
I think
I cracked too.
It's really like Lord of the Rings.
I was son of a bitch. I was fighting for that straight face. Like, I'm gonna.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome, man.
That was good.
Wow, great movies.
Well, we've given people some great suggestions for entertainment. I think as far as our goals for Grapes, I think we've definitely got some gentle with oneself, and some exercise, and some pleasuring oneself. Is that? No, that's not it. Had to do it.
It's an easy one.
I think we've got our goals pretty much in line. So we are running a little long here, but this is a test, folks. Who am I kidding? I want to upload it anyway, because we need to get going. But no, we'll do the thing. So we thank all of you and the Bob Squad for watching us. Jesse, where can we find you? What are you doing? What are you up to?
Well, you can find me at Jesse Egan Comedy on all social media, and check out my other podcast. It's called Awful Neutral. It's a comedy Dungeons & Dragons podcast with a bunch of really funny people. And if you liked what we did here, please give us a nice rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get this podcast, Podomatic to start for sure.
Yep.
And eventually we'll have a Patreon and all that stuff. But if you follow us on Twitter as well and you want to interact with us, we'd love to know if any of you have tried Grapes or any of these components, how they work for you, which ones you struggle with, which ones you find easier, and any other advice on mental health for these times we're living in. We can use all the help we can get, right?
Absolutely. Let us know at Beachtown Comedy on Twitter. Myself, you can find various YouTube projects. The Sun Bob Productions, G.I. Joe fans know of the Sunbow Productions, who made the cartoons. Sun Bob G.I. Joe episodes are up there on my own YouTube, Bob Hanson Jokes. The Hardest Part of the Ring, of course, is on YouTube and Podomatic and Spotify, what have you. My wrestling podcast, you can hear all about my wrestling going-ons using my experience, trained by WWE Hall of Famer Off of the Wild Samoan, proud student, him not so proud, but me half, and all of those. So all those projects are out there. So just follow us on Twitter at Beachtown Comedy, and you will stay well informed of what we're doing and what we got going on. You can also find me at the subway next to Linda Vista Road and Mesa College Drive, trying not to answer questions from some nosy kid about what I'm up to.
Enjoy that foot smell.
Indeed. So we thank you all. So let us know in the comments, Twitter, YouTube comments, whatever. Chat us up. Tell us what you got going on. The Queen of England is a lizard. We thank you so much for joining us. We are Jesse Egan and Bob, respectively.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
All right. Thank you all. Remember the Alamo. Take
No,
it
I
easy,
didn't.
folks. Jesus.
Jesse and Bob are two dudes on the job to brighten your day while gabbing away on a pod. Forget your frown, let's see what's going down in Beachtown.